How you doing there, YouTube? This is Sonic19 coming with you with a rogue budget deck build today. Today's deck is Ghosties. This was a very late but not so good G era deck back in the day. In my opinion, it could have been really great if Bushido would have spent a little bit more time on it. But they were so rushing with the end of G era going into the reboot, it kind of got pushed to the side. But with some of the new Ghostie units that came out alongside the old no cards and some new Vieira cards, I think I made a pretty good comeback with it. So we're gonna start with 4 copies of Ghost Leader Demetria. So on place, Soul Blast 2 Ghost, any 2 Ghost. Then you mill the top cards of your deck until you hit a grade 1 Ghostie added to your hand. That's her on play skill. Then she has another skill. When one of your rear guards is retired and she sees it, you can superior call from your drop zone one normal Ghostie unit whose grade is 1 or less than the unit that was retired. So, for example, if you retire or your opponent retires a grade 2, you can get a grade 1 or grade 0 normal Ghost unit from your drop zone. And you'll see later on where that comes in effect. Our other grade 3 we run 4 Skull Dragons. Big boy, big hitter. You'll be able to get him out multiple times in this deck. And as the game progresses, he's just gonna keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to the point where your opponent needs a PG. And the way that this deck is run, you mill and excavate so many cards out of your deck, there's literally nothing but triggers left in it. And then I run the 1 grade 3 Franger. I'm thinking about changing this out to the old Night Storm from G era just to help extend the attacks in this deck. I really don't use this card that much, but it's just there for right now. Going on to the grade 2s, I run 4 copies of Clemmy the Ghostie. He is one of your B6. He's one of your stronger Ghostie units. When there are 5 or more cards in your drop zone, he becomes a permanent 11k. But if you have 10 or more Ghosties in the drop zone, which is not hard to do in this deck, he becomes a permanent 16k, and then his shield goes from 5 to 10 permanently. So that's whether being placed from the hand or when he intercepts. He's always a 10k shield. So our next grade 2 is Heathcliff the Ghostie. We run 4 copies of him. He's basically your pseudo lottery card. If there are 3 or less cards in your drop zone when he is placed, he goes into rest, but he gains 3k. Then you can counter blast 1 and then mill the top card. If that top card is a Ghostie, he re-stands and gains another 3k. So he's a 15k hitter when you get when the lottery is in your favor. If not, he stays at rest. So it's always a gamble when using him. And then for the last grade 2s, I run 2 copies of Pirate Swordsman Columbard. He is one of your key card grade 2s. He allows you to extend your attacks to, instead of just having 3 attacks, it can be either 4 attacks or 5 attacks. Because I believe he's one of the only when boosted counterblast 1 units in Vanguard that he can call himself. So you can go Columbard into something else. Or just keep going Calibar into Calibar as long as you still have the back row units to keep boosting him. Then we go into our grade 1s. Our grade 1s are full of nothing but Ghosties. It's a Ghostie deck. We run 2 Stride Fighter Ghosties. Tommy the Ghostie Brothers. He's a Ghostie. It's a stride deck. We need strides. Then you run 4 copies of the new grade 1 PG. Dolph the Ghostie. Simple fact of the matter is that draw 1, discard 1 helps start your drop zone so quickly, and then you also get 2 draws in the beginning of your turn. Just because of the new starters plus him, you're already starting off with 2 cards and also a card in your drop zone. What more could you ask for? And he's a Ghostie. Then we go into Quincy the Ghostie, part of the defense in here. Like I told you before earlier with Demetria, how if you or your opponent retires a grade 2, he is the grade 1 that you want to come back. superior call off of her skill. Because when she's attacked again, you can retire him and give her plus 5k until the end of that battle. So if you have multiple on the fields, you can keep buffing up your Vanguard, buffing up your Ghostie Vanguard, making it even harder for your opponents to hit. And then for our last grade 1, we run 3 copies of Path to Ghostie. Now this is one of the cards I want to boost up to 4. I was thinking about dropping one of the Quincy's, putting him to 3 and putting Path to 4. This card has saved my behind so many times in the late game where I had no cards left in my hand. His skill, if there are 10 or more cards in your drop zone, you can call him from your drop zone to the Guardian Circle. He is a grade 1 with 15k shield. And it's not a hard wish return. You can call all 3 of these if you need to. But the catch is when he leaves the Guardian Circle, he binds himself. So you can't keep doing it back and forth. So that's why you want to leave him in your drop zone for a clutch moment. Just that last bit of saving grace. Then we go into our grade 0s. We run 4 Vieira Hills. Then we run the new 4 Vieira crits with the Insole plus 10k draw 1. Then you run another 4 Vieira crit, vanilla. And then you run another 2 Vieira crit. There's a lot of crits. You want to kill your opponent as fast as possible. Draws will make you, with all the milling, draws will make your deck out way too fast. And there's nothing else you really need in here. You just want to crit them out. And then in the last 2, I run 2 stand triggers. Mike the Ghostie and family. Not because of the stand trigger, because of his ability, because he has a hollow ability. But most apparently that because he gets any unit when he's called from the drop zone plus 10k. And then when he retires at the end of the turn, he goes back to the deck. Also giving you some afterlife. No puns intended, but afterlife for your deck so you don't deck out. That's the main deck. We're about to go into the G zone so you get a better understanding of how this deck is run. Oh, sorry, not to mention, I run 2 starters. I run the Captain Night Kid for the draw 1, and then I run the Undying Departed Grenache. He's your main counter charger. Because of how much you're using Columbard, you counter blast a lot in the second. Plus, most of your strides take a lot of counter blast, so he is your most prominent key card. He allows you to get your counter charges back. And a little hint: when you call him from the drop zone as hollow, if you call over him, his hollow ability still kicks off. All right, going into the G zone, you run 2 copies of the new stride, Ghostie Great Emperor Big Obadiah. He is your first and second stride because he allows you to fill your drop zone with precise cards. None of this milling without knowing what you're getting. Precise cards. You choose what goes into your drop zone. So it's Counter Blast 1. Flip over a G unit. Search your deck for 5 cards. Put them into the drop zone. Then you get to call 2 cards for every card face up in your G zone. So as the game progresses, by the time you get to your second stride, you can call a full board. And not to mention that every card that's called off the field gains 5k. So they're hitting for decent numbers. Going into our second stride, we run 4 copies of Demon Sea Queen Mardred. This is the card that you flip over with Obadiah. Her skill says when act, counterblast 1. And then for every face-up copy of her in your G zone, she flips over herself, mind you. You call from your drop zone up to the grade of 4. And then she gains all the original power of those cards that are called. So you can call 2 grade 2s and a grade 0, or 1 grade 3 and a grade 1 and a grade 0. Any combination as long as each of those grades equal 4. So this is another one. This is another card that allows you to call out multiple cards. But instead of them getting the power like Obadiah gives, she takes all the power for herself. Then my next stride is the Bolus of Corpse Negrosonger. This is one of my niche little cards. I only run 2 copies of it. So when she attacks, you can counterblast 1, ditch a card from your hand, check the top 4 cards, put another card in your drop zone, and then call a card from your drop zone. That card that was called through her skill gains 5k for each card in your G zone. So as you're building up with more Drids and uh and Obadiahs in your G zone, when you go into her, your that unit that you're calling is at least hitting for over 30. And if you call a Skull Dragon with her ability, that's sometimes it can even reach over 100k. When you drop her on the board, your opponents know it's going to be GG or PG. All right, for my next stride, this is I go into Eclipse, Dragon Hulk, Jumbo Dragon, just because if my opponents think about keeping my counterblast and not giving me any damage whatsoever, damage denying me, it's a free stride without any cost. Just one place, I mill the top 4. If for every 2 triggers I mill, I get to superior call something. For every normal unit I mill, he gains 5k power. So this is just, if they think they got me because of the counterblast, I can still push with some heavy pushing of my own. And then I run the 1 copy of Progenitor Dragon of Deep Seas Belladonnera. I use this card as a finisher. If I know my opponent's in a tough spot and if I'm getting a good couple of swings with Columbard and Skull Dragons going back and forth, they're going to want to guard those attacks, especially at 4 to 5 damage. But all I have to do is keep dropping grade 1s and grade 0s out of my hand to get rid of their guardians. That could be G Guardians, Perfect Guards, whatever. All I gotta do is keep dropping cards in my hand, which makes Skull Dragon even stronger because I'm dropping cards and he's getting power for every card that's in the drop zone. So this is how that ties in. So your opponent's either going to keep trying to keep guarding these attacks, or he just might as well take it. Then I run the 1 Diabolist of Tomb Negro mode. So she's one of the stronger guardians. She gains 5k for every 5 cards in your drop zone, all the way up to 15. So her guard can go from 15 to all the way to 30. And enough said about that. Then I run 2 copies of Great Witch Doctor of Banquet Negro Lily. She is the ghosty. G Guardian. So when you place her, it's counterblast 1, retire one of your rear guards, superior call 1 ghosty from your drop zone. The card that you normally want to superior call would be Quincy. That way you can benefit from his 10k shield because you can guard with her, then call out Quincy to the rear guard, and then guard with him straight to the guardian circle. So that makes it 15. She gains 10k from that shield. Then you're adding another 10k to that shield. And let's not mention. Where's she at? Where did she go? Oh, there she is. Let's not mention Demetrius' skill. So when Negro Lily activates her ability, retires a grade 2, let's say like Columbard, you call. Demetrius' skill, because she saw the grade 2 being retired, you get to call Quincy. So you get 2 cards for the price of 1, and then both of their skills are defensive skills. So you get an additional 10k to the guard circle, then you retire Quincy, get another plus 5k to the guardian circle. And let's not mention if Quincy's on Protect 2. This deck wants to use Protect 2, just for that simple fact that he can go from a 10k shield to a 20k shield, adding 5k, so it's an additional 25k to that shield. Big brain moves, people. Big brain moves. And then for the last G Guardian, I run 2 copies of Bullets of Siliconation Negro Nora. Sorry if I'm butchering these names. So she allows me, when you guard with her, she's the Generation Guard flipper. So you will flip a G Guardian, Soul Blast 1, and then you get to choose any any 2 cards from your drop zone with different grades and call them. So what I would like to do when I play her, I would like to go for the heal trigger and then also go for the perfect guard. Because this is one of the new perfect guards that it can be placed from anywhere and still gets ability off. When I don't have a perfect guard in hand, she is my extra perfect guard. Let's just say that. So that's the deck. I know it's not one of the bigger, flashier decks that a lot of people run, especially with the new Grand Blue placing second at World this year. But I like it, and I believe it's a good deck that if Bushiroad were to bring it back in Vera, it could be one of the more prominent deck builds. Instead of having Grand Blue be all about rushing down, attacking with big numbers, this is going to be the defensive version of Grand Blue that I believe Grand Blue needs. It's a protect clan. It shouldn't be all about just rushing in and having protect as your backup, where you can hit high numbers too, but also have board that can protect you not just from the hand. So I hope you guys like my deck build. Please subscribe. Leave your comments down below. Please keep it clean. And as always, see you later.